folks? Welcome to Driftwood Guitars. My name is Chris. Behind the camera is Matt. As always, welcome to episode number 462 of the 3,000-year-old guitar build. As you remember in the last episode, we were able to join the back and put the back strap on. I have pulled it out of the go bar deck. And today, we're going to begin the process of putting the braces on this bad boy. So that's pretty exciting. What I've done is I've removed the 15-foot radius dish out of the go bar deck and put it over here on the workbench, because it's going to assist us in getting these braces ready to go using my template and index system. So what we need to do out of the gate is we're going to put this back on the go bar deck in the index pins, and we are going to set my back bracing template on here, which is going to assist us, because as you can see with my layouts that I have on here, it's going to allow us to be able to notch out this back strap really easily without doing any measuring. So if you're doing this at home, you would just measure this out however you want, however the guitar plans that you're using, or however you feel like doing it, honestly. The one thing that I will say that you need to be aware of if you are using a traditional sound hole on your guitar is that you need to make sure that this area right here does not have a brace on it, so that you can have your label visible through the sound hole if that's what you're into. And so that's how I actually laid this bracing pattern out, is I put a guitar top on it and found where the sound hole was so that I'd have room for my guitar label. The other thing that I did off camera before we started this shoot was I went ahead and prepped up some braces for the back. I went with some really nicely quarter-sawn Adirondack spruce that I got from LMI. And the way that I do mine is they're all 8mm thick, and these lower ones I do about a 1/2 inch tall. They're actually 13mm tall, and then these upper two, I do them, let me look, I do those ones at 11.5mm tall. So my thought process on that is obviously that this upper area of the guitar is much narrower. So because it's narrower, it's going to be stronger, and we're actually able to bring those braces down a little bit less tall, because the narrow distance that the brace has to span is going to make it stronger anyway. And so first step for us is going to be to cut out the back strap in the place where we're going to put these back braces. So I'm going to do that just using a little carcass saw here, and we'll knock those out and chisel them out of place, and we'll move on to the next step. Now that we just got those notched, I just basically use my saw as a marker, and I'll just finish them out with that over here so that I can get these cut through. You can also do this with a chisel if you'd like, but this is just nice and easy. So we just cut down to the wood. I take a 1/4 inch chisel, and you go, and you pop it off. Nice and easy. I'll clean that up here in a second.
So the back bracing on a guitar just provides strength?
It does.
Strength to the back?
It adds strength to the back. The back is not going to be carrying a load like the top is. That's the most important thing to remember. The top's carrying string tension. It's also, the wood itself is not as strong as usually the back wood, because it's usually made out of a hardwood. But I use ladder bracing on the back of my guitars. It's what's traditionally used. It works really well. I'm able to get a really good sound out of my guitars. I will confess that I don't put a lot of thought into the back, and I do think that is an area, if you're looking for a place on an acoustic guitar to really be innovative and try out things that haven't been done yet, I think the back is very fertile for that. I'm able to get a really good sound out of my guitars just the way that I'm doing it, so I don't really mess with it. You know what I mean? It's just, it works. I've got it formulaically down to get the sound that I'm after, so I don't put a lot of effort into it. I do brace it a very specific way. It's repeated, and I voice it to a certain type of responsiveness that I'm looking for. But there are definitely some people out there that spend a lot of time voicing the back to a specific pitch in correlation to the top, and there's something to be said about that. I don't think anyone is wrong. Like I've been saying since the beginning of this, you need to find a method that works well for you, something that's repeatable, that you can get a consistent sound that you're looking for. So yeah, that's my thought process on the back on my guitars. I do 5 ladder braced braces that run parallel to the length of the sides. So you can see, because the back strap is, the grain is running perpendicular to the sides, it just pops out nice and easy. allows us to get those out of there, and then we can just chisel out the rest of the material nice and easy. The other thing about my template that makes it nice is that it's already set to the exact width of my braces, which makes it really nice for me to not have to do any measuring. I know that a lot of people talk about this like, oh my god, I spend more time making templates than I did building the guitar. Well, your templates, as you've seen in this build series, taking your time building the templates can actually be more fruitful than learning how to build guitars out of the gate. Making good templates are going to save you a lot of headaches in the future. So, you know, I didn't start out with all these templates. For years, every single guitar was completely hand laid out and measured. For those of you that are watching the Woodstock series that we're putting out, you'll see that I wasn't using any of these templates back then. And was able to build really good guitars, but the templates just save me time, and it makes me get to the good stuff. Essentially, I feel like you can just get straight to the fun parts of the guitar build. And I like making templates. It's really fun to like think of ways that you can build jigs that do like one job really well. That's just a fun thing to do. As I often say, I build guitars so I can buy tools. Alrighty. So we'll just check for fitment on these real quick. Really nice. Perfect. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is put this template back on here, and what we're going to do is cut all these braces to length. So like I said, my taller braces, my 13mm ones, are going to be down here. My less tall ones will be down here. So then I'm going to take a pencil, and we are just going to mark where they need to be cut. That actually needs to be there. And instead of cutting all of these individually, what I do is this, is I stack them up along that line. We'll get them like this. Get that all lined up. I put that in the vise. We'll do it over here so Matt can see it.
Nice.
Use my saw, and we'll cut it. I'm gonna put a link to this saw in the description too. That's the Veritas carcass saw. It's so, or no, this is the gent saw is what this is, the little gent saw. It's like a $50 saw, which seems a lot for a little one like that, but holy cow, it's awesome. We put out the Taylor guitar review yesterday, and you'll see in there when I'm cutting the guitar open, this thing cut right through this giant metal structure on the guitar, like it was made out of wood, which is super nice. But so now let's check this out. Everything's just ready to go back in place. Hang on, I lost my indexing pin. But yeah, so now everything's ready to just slide right back into where it was without me having to do multiple cuts. I was able to get all that done in just one quick cut. So the next thing that we need to do before we're ready to glue these onto the back is to just put that radius, the 15-foot radius, into them. So we've seen that in many videos. So, but we're gonna, instead of doing it in the Go Bar deck, I'll just do it right here on the workbench. And I will not, let me keep these kind of in order. I'm not gonna do them one at a time. Once again, just to save some time, I'm gonna do those two and then these three. And the reason that I do that, instead of doing them individually, hang on, I almost cracked the back earlier doing this. The reason I do that is because if you do one of them, you have a tendency to kind of like rock it this way or that way. And if you do multiples at a time, it just gives you more bearing surface and you have less of a tendency to rock it this way or that way. So we can come in here and just go to work on it like that. So we'll do that with all 5 of these braces, and then we will move on to basically gluing them on.
I just say, it really bugs me that you left 2 spots behind.
Oh, here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's fine. This is bugging Matt that we've left a couple of spots of some dust on the
Oh no, I'm gonna leave my complaining in there. Yeah. When I edit this later, you best believe. Hey, in the comments section, tell Chris how bad he is at vacuum.
Alright, so we've got the radiuses put onto our back braces. And what's nice is that now it's pretty much ready to go already into the go bar deck. I need to add some longer pins to these. But yeah, what we're going to do is move the go bar deck over to here, and we're going to clamp these on. There's not a whole lot. The dust is getting to me. Wear a respirator, folks. But we just need to clamp these on, and we'll be ready to move on to the next step, which is voicing the back. But for now, in this video, we're going to keep it kind of short because we're going to do a much longer in-depth video on voicing the back of a guitar. It's a conversation worth having. And I don't want to skip over it too much. So we'll move the go bar deck over here and get these things glued on and have a little bit more conversation about that. And I'm also going to blow my nose. Hello. Didn't see you there.
Jesus.
All right, we've got the back on the go bar deck. We've got some nice indexing pins that are much taller on there. So pretty self-explanatory here, right? We're going to put our template on the back, if I can get it to go on, and then there's not a lot of thought involved here. I leave my just like I did on the top, I leave the tops of my braces completely flat so that I can put the go bars on there and not really worry about them putting dents on it at all, because that once we shape and start voicing these, it's going to give us we're going to knock off any of those dents. So I'm just going to grab some glue. Let me make sure we got these in the right spots real quick. Yes. And then I'm gonna grab some glue and we'll start gluing these down real fast. All right, the way that I do this, if you don't have this template that I have here, which most of you are not gonna be using a template like I am, what you're gonna want to do is put a square up against the back strap that you have on here. That way you can make sure that your braces are on nice and square if you're doing a ladder brace. That's how I did it for years, just using it as I used like a Bridge City tool square or whatever you have. It doesn't have to be anything fancy at all, and that way you make sure that these things aren't all janky on you. Not too much glue. You don't want to have to clean up a bunch of squeeze out, but enough glue that of course it's clogged. There we go. Enough glue that it'll stick.
Tastes like nougat.
It tastes like Nutella. Was it they use in Australia, Matt?
Oh, Vegemite.
Vegemite.
Yeah.
All the Aussies will be commenting now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's either Vegemite or if you're from New Zealand, it's Marmite.
Uh-huh.
And personally, I'm a Marmite man.
He's a Marmite man.
Yeah, and listen, you know what? I'm ready to accept that. I'm ready to live and die by those comments. Like, hit me up in the comments box.
That's a whole thing over there, huh?
Can be, yeah.
So you saw how I don't know if you saw how that clamp just slipped off and it landed on the template, which is nice. So the template not only guides all my braces in the right spot, but if you do have any slips, it protects the go bar from hitting the wood, which is nice too. But yeah, I'm trying to think, I would say that like things to consider when you're deciding on how many ladder braces, if you're doing ladder bracing, and how tall and thick to do them is how is this guitar going to be used? Is it going to be a studio instrument? Is it going to be a guitar that you're going to be taking to gigs? Is it going to be used for bluegrass? Is it going to be used for fingerstyle? Those things are all considerations that you need to be thinking about as you're doing it. I would say that if it's going to be a guitar that's going to be gigged with a lot, then brace it up a lot beefier, because if it's going to be gigged with, it's going to be used with a guitar strap 99.9% of the time, and that back ain't doing a whole lot sonically to the guitar. So because your belly is going to be, basically muting the back, so you can make it nice and strong. If it's going to be a studio instrument where it's going to be mic'd up all the time, then you can make this back a lot more loosely braced so that the back actually becomes more resonant. We haven't done a video about it yet, but I was showing Matt yesterday a guitar. We've had some comments about whether the back actually does anything, and it's quite significant. If you're at home and you have a guitar, I take it and strum it, kind of making sure that it's not touching your belly at all. and then take it and press it up against your belly and play that exact same chord, you'll be blown away by how much of a difference the sound of that guitar has. So that's why if you're sitting down using the guitar most of the time, that back becomes much more of a contributor to the tone of the guitar. So you can actually spend more time bracing that back to be more of a contributor to the tone. Whereas, as we have mentioned, this guitar here is going to be used mostly for gigs, which is good, right? It's good. We like our instruments to be played. Will Thompson's a terrible guitar player, though, so he's a buddy of mine, so we'll see if he comments. This will be a test whether Will's watching our channel or not.
Yeah.
Oh man. Charlie on the scene.
Charlie! 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 Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. The belly rubs. We love a good belly rub.
Alright, as we put our last brace on the guitar, I hope that this is pretty self-explanatory for everybody. This is not nearly as rocket science-y as the top bracing. Is. You know, doing it really well obviously is always top priority. Making sure that you get really good tight joints in the braces to the to that back strap, because you are going to see all this through the sound hole. Making sure that you have a spot for your label, so that is nice and visible through the sound hole if you want it to be. And just using high quality woods, you know, like I've got perfectly quarter sawed Adirondack spruce here. You can also use mahogany to brace it up. I try to stick with something similar to what I'm using on the top. I don't know, I guess the main thought process behind that is this humidity changes on the guitar. They're all going to expand and shrink at the same speed.
Well, but aesthetically, it kind of matches the color scheme too, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think we're going to end this video here. I know it's a little short one, but the next video is going to be much more in depth because we're going to be doing the voicing of the back and getting all that carved and profiled. And then the really exciting news is the episode after that, we're going to close the guitar body up and we're going to be pulling it out of the mold, which will be a huge, it's always a big step because now you've got that body you can hold in your hand. But we appreciate everybody who's been following along on the 3,000-year-old guitar build video. The comments are really great. So many people have been saying that they've been interested in guitar building, and this video has inspired them to really get back in the saddle with it. So that's super exciting. Appreciate everybody who has helped us on Patreon. Those go a long way to help us be able to do the guitar breakdown videos. And yeah, man, we'll keep it going. Matt's gonna get off his hiney and start working on the amp build video series too soon. But
we've had a lot of other irons in the fire.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, guys, we appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.